Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time tuning in, my name is Adrielle, and I am currently telling a story of my life dating back from January 2016. Previous episode, I spoke about the month of February, and this episode, I am going to speak about the month of March. So, here it goes. So, it's the beginning of March. Previous month, I was feeling sick, but at this point, I was starting to feel better. The cough and the cold was starting to dwindle. Now, even though at this point I am 100% convinced that Brandon is my spouse, I am looking at his social media and thinking to myself that I don't think this guy is saved. I was like, according to social media, I don't think I'm not getting saved vibes from him. Now, back in 2018, he would post devotionals, which is cool. Anybody can post devotionals. But I'm looking at his page, I'm like, I don't think he's a believer. And not only that, I don't really think he is checking for God. Like he doesn't care about the things of God like I do. Or he doesn't just care about the things of God, period. So I'm thinking to myself, God, why would you put me with somebody that's not checking for you or that's an unbeliever? And I didn't pay attention to all of this back in 2018 because I was still going back and forth of whether he's my husband or not. But I'm like, I don't, it's giving unequally yoked, And also, I'm thinking to myself, what is the commonality between both of us? I feel like we have nothing in common. If he's not checking for God, we can't be together, So I'm like, God, why would you put me with somebody who is not saved? I started having those questions in March. March 5th was the beginning of my third class. So I go to class that day, and on my way to class, I am just thinking about this whole Brandon thing. And I'm just like, man, God, what is it about Brandon? Because ever since I knew about him in 2018, it just feels like God is so adamant about him. And I'm just like, Lord, this guy is not checking for you. Why are you so wrapped up in Brandon? You're so wrapped up with him, wrapped up with me and him being together. It's like, what is it about him? It looks like he's not saved, but it seems like you're just advocating for him. Why? So I started having those thoughts while I was driving to class. And so I attend class and I come back home and yeah. The next day, which was March 6th, was the beginning of Lent. So no social media and no music. And even though I decided that I'm not going to listen to music during the Lent period, I started feeling nervous, thinking to myself, do I have to completely let go of secular music? Because I know I'm not listening to it, for the Lent period, but does God want me to stop listening? Does God want me to stop listening to secular music altogether, even after Lent? So I remember just being so nervous that, man, if I go back to listen to secular music, I am sinning against God. And yeah. So I said, you know what? After Lent, I'll just focus on that, whether I go back to secular music or not. So that was my mindset at that time. Now, concerning my whole throat, it's still feeling funny. I take it upon myself to go to Walmart and get Prilosec. I get Prilosec, and it's for 2 weeks. As I start taking it, my throat becomes better. And I'm like, oh, okay, thank God. My throat becomes better. But I did notice that I started burping excessively. I would burp probably every 7 seconds, just constantly burping without me taking anything. But my throat was feeling better. So I said, you know what? This whole burping thing is going to eventually go away, Now that it's Lent season, y'all, and I need to say this too. Part of the reason why I wanted to observe Lent that year was also to hear clearly from the Lord, because I felt like I had so many questions of secular music, what was going on with me internally. Brandon. I just had so many questions. So I said, you know what? This season of consecration, God is going to minister to me. And he did. I started to have so many dreams of Brandon and his brother. Didn't understand why at the time, but I was just I would have like probably 2 dreams a week about him or about him and his brother. And at the end of this episode, I'll actually talk about the dreams. I was having dreams. Now, here's the thing with the dreams. I did not understand what they meant. Didn't understand at the time, but I just kept on having dreams about Brandon and his brother. Didn't understand why, but I'm like, okay, this means something, okay? So that was what was going on during the beginning, probably like the 2nd or 3rd week of Lent. March 15, I received an email about one of the jobs I applied to. They wanted me to take an aptitude test for the position, and if I passed, I moved to the interview round. Now, with this particular job, they were looking for 10 people to fill the position. 5 in their Alpharetta location and 5 in their Hoboken, New Jersey position. So once they get their 10 people, they're good. They're good. So I tell myself, I need to do very good in this aptitude test so that I can move to the interview round and get this job in Alpharetta. Now, here's the thing with Alpharetta. Alpharetta is like an hour away from North Decatur. But I told myself, I don't care. I'm a drive. I feel like everywhere is 40 minutes away in Atlanta. I don't mind driving, So yeah, I'm like, I just need to concentrate on this test, aptitude test, and interview. I'm gonna do what I need to do and secure this job before graduation. So that was just my mindset. March 18th, I finally get paid from my internship job. It was so exhausting, y'all. After 6 weeks of bothering them, I finally got paid. So that was great, and also that was spring break. So that was something that I can use during my spring break. Now, here's something I do want to mention. During my spring break, Dina and I both had a conversation of us hanging out on one of the days of spring break, us hanging out. I don't know why, but I kind of felt iffy about her hanging out with me, which is weird because I typically hang out with her. But the fact that she was going to come into my apartment. Now, mind you, she's been to my apartment in December, but I remember just feeling weird about it. So I was like, should I pray? Should I pray about her coming to my apartment? I was like, no, if there's anything, I feel like God would let me know. So Dina came to hang out. We went to the spa and had a massage, and we came back to eat in my apartment. Now, after we had our lunch, I fell asleep. Like, I was just knocked out, I fell asleep on my couch, and I probably slept for like 5 minutes. I don't even know how long it was, but all I knew was that while I was sleeping, I woke up. Now, when I woke up, I didn't open my eyes. My eyes were still closed. So when I woke up, I hear Dina get off the couch and go into my bathroom to use the bathroom. So I'm sitting on my couch, still, eyes closed but awake. And I hear Dina, in my bathroom, using the bathroom. She flushes. But 5 and 10 minutes after, she's still in my bathroom. And I'm like, what is she doing? I'm like, okay, why is she in the bathroom for so long? Like, she already flushed like 10 minutes ago. And I hear her opening up my drawers. Like, why is she opening up my drawers? Like, I just hear the cabinets just open. I'm like, what is she doing? So she comes back. When she comes back, I acted like I woke up because I heard her footsteps. So I was like, is everything all right? I was like, I just heard the noise in the bathroom. She was like, oh no, everything's fine. Everything's good. I was like, okay. In my head, I was like, why was she opening up my cabinets? It was weird. It was weird. I didn't understand that. So I was like, okay. March 24th, that was the day I took the aptitude test because it was due the next day, March 25th. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna just submit this whole thing and hopefully something good comes out of it. And yeah, that was pretty much the month of March. Now, there are things I want to get into. I want to get into the dreams. Now, the dreams. The first dream I had was, it was me, my brothers, to have two brothers, and Nami. We were going into a house. The house looked exactly like the group home house I worked at in 2016. We were going there. Now, in this dream, for some reason, Nami and I were in a relationship. I don't know how that happened, but in the dream, me and Nami were in a relationship. And Nami wanted to bring me into the house because he wanted to introduce me to Brandon, because Brandon was in the house. So Brandon is in the house and he's playing video games. So he says he doesn't have time to see me. So eventually, me, Nami, my brothers were outside in the patio just hanging out. Brandon comes out. And when Brandon comes out, he says hi to me. And when he says hi to me, I remember just feeling like he's who I want to be with. I don't want to be with Nami. I want to be with Brandon. So I was just like, oh my goodness, how can I get him? That was kind of like what was going on in my dream. Like, I want to be with Brandon. I don't want to be with Nami. Like he's the guy I want. So I remember in the dream just thinking about Brandon, but I'm with Nami, That was the first dream. I thought that was very weird. I woke up. I remember telling God, is Nami my husband? No, it can't be, because Brandon has been the focus the entire time. So I'm like, why am I having a dream that I'm dating Nami? It doesn't make sense. So I said, okay, I'ma just let that go. Another dream I had during Lent was, I had a dream that I was in a classroom with me, Nami, and a group of other people. And Brandon was teaching the class. And we were just writing our notes, just writing whatever he was saying. And he was just basically teaching the class. So I'm like, what is going on? Is Brandon going to be a preacher, a pastor? Like, I'm having dreams that he's teaching. Now, in the dream, I don't really recall him teaching about Christ, but he was teaching. And we were all just writing notes of what he was saying, So I'm just like, what's going on? What is my future husband going to be in the future? So that was that. Another dream I had was, there was a particular brand, very, very famous brand, it's global, right? They were coming out with the shoe. So all of us were gathered in the arena. At that time, it was the Phillips Arena. We all gathered there, and we were waiting for the release of this new shoe. So we all gathered inside the arena, and we're just waiting for the announcement. Now, for this event, Brandon was the one hosting it. So we were there waiting for this shoe to come out. And the next thing you know, we see hats drop from the rafters. And we're like, what's going on? So announcement was made that the release of the shoe has been postponed. So now everybody's like, oh my goodness, why? We were waiting for this shoe. What happened? Anyways, we all go to the lobby, and we're just like, man, we were all waiting for the shoe. And I'm just standing there like, man, I wanted to see the shoe be released. Like, what's going on? The next thing you know, Brandon approaches me and says, yeah, I know. Me too. I was waiting for the shoe to be released. And I said, what happened? And he was like, but he's just smiling at me. And I was like, okay. And he's just smiling at me. And that was the end of the dream. And then I started having other dreams about Brandon. I'm like, okay, what is going on with these dreams? I didn't know how to interpret dreams at that time. It was just a lot of dreams. So that was the dreams. Those were two of the many dreams I had during Lent period. So for the recap of March, Brandon, I'm like, Lord, he's not saved. I said, Lord, this man is not saved, and you're telling me he's my husband. I was like, Lord, this man is not saved and you're telling me he's my husband. Please let him open up the Bible. As far as school goes, things are just going well with school. I'm still observing Lent in the month of March. And at this time, I was serving at the children's ministry at my church. And I think it was from ages 2 to 4. Yeah, 2 to 4. And the reason why I decided to do that was because immediately I got that confirmation that Brandon is my husband. I told myself, any time from now, me and Brandon are going to get married. I haven't been around kids in a very long time, at least kids in that age group, 2 to 4. I haven't been around them in a very long time. Let me use this time to serve at the children's ministry to prepare myself for motherhood. So I decided to be a part of the children's ministry at my church. Another thing that was going on in my church was, oddly enough, even though I was serving, I remember beginning of January, and even a lot in March, I just started feeling weird about the church. I started telling myself that, I don't know, there's something about this church that I'm just not vibing with. I feel like the Holy Spirit is not in this church. That was what I said. Now, mind you, at this time, I've heard the word Holy Spirit, but I really didn't know the Holy Spirit at that time. But I remember just saying, I feel like the Holy Spirit is not in this church. Anytime the pastor would preach and mention sin, he would say it jokingly, and which I thought was okay. But I remember just started looking at it sideways. That's okay. Maybe I'm just the one tripping, But I remember praise and worship, people would just be sitting down and no one's really like there's no fire in this church. I remember just saying there's no fire in this church. So I was like, I can't see myself still attending this church in 2020. That's what I said. And and I'm like, Lord, if you want me to leave, just let me know. I like that I was a part of the children's ministry, but I was like, if you just want me to leave, let me know. So that was what happened in the month of March. Next episode, I'm going to talk about the month of April and everything that happened. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on social media, and until next time,